In 1999, this company was running out of road. Nissan owed its banks nearly 2 trillion yen, about $17 billion, and had lost money for most of a decade. Almost no one believed it would survive the next 2 years. So here is the strange part. 20 years later, Nissan would sit at the very top of the car world, the #1 automaking group on Earth, more than 10 million vehicles a year, and then somehow it would end up right back on the edge it started from. This is the story of how one company was pulled back from the brink, built into an empire, and how a single decision at the top almost undid all of it. To understand the fall, you have to understand the rescue. By the late 1990s, Nissan was proud, old, and quietly drowning. Japanese car makers didn't fail. That was the assumption. But Nissan's debt was real, its factories were half empty, and its own banks were nervous. The lifeline came from an unlikely place: France. Renault paid around $5 billion for a 36.8% stake and sent one man to fix it, a cost-cutting executive named Carlos Ghosn. He was an outsider twice over, not Japanese, and not a traditional car company lifer. Tokyo watched him with open suspicion. What Ghosn did next became a business legend. In October 1999, he announced the Nissan Revival Plan, and it was brutal. He closed factories. He broke the cozy supplier web that Japanese industry was built on. He cut 21,000 jobs, and he staked his own career on it publicly, promising profit within a single year or he would walk. The country expected him to fail. Instead, Nissan returned to the black ahead of schedule. The debt came down. The man Tokyo distrusted became briefly a national hero, the outsider who saved a Japanese icon. And then he built. The Renault-Nissan partnership grew teeth. Nissan poured money back into the cars that mattered. The rebirth of the GTR, the return of the Z, and a bet almost no one else was making. The Leaf, the first mass-produced electric car for ordinary buyers. Mitsubishi was pulled in. By 2017, the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi Alliance sold 10,608,000 vehicles in a single year. More than Toyota, more than Volkswagen. It was, by volume, the largest car group in the world. Ghosn ran all of it. One man, 3 companies, the top of the industry. It looked unbreakable. On the 19th of November, 2018, a private jet landed in Tokyo. Prosecutors were waiting. Carlos Ghosn, the savior, the chairman, the most powerful man in global car making, was taken into custody. Nissan said its own internal inquiry had found he underreported tens of millions of dollars in compensation and used company assets as his own. He denied it. But for the company, the truth was simpler and worse. The one person holding the empire together was gone overnight. And the way it happened, a Japanese company turning on its French-installed chief exposed a fault line that had been papered over for years. The alliance wasn't a marriage, it was a truce, and the truce had just broken. A year later, it got stranger. In December 2019, out on bail and facing trial, Ghosn vanished. He was smuggled out of Japan, reportedly hidden inside an audio equipment case, and surfaced in Lebanon, beyond the reach of Japanese courts. To this day, he remains there, insisting he was set up. But the spectacle hid the real damage. While the headlines chased the man, Nissan itself was adrift. Leadership churned. The alliance with Renault turned cold, and the product, the actual cars, started to age. This is the quiet part of the story, and it is the part that almost finished the company. For years after Ghosn, Nissan coasted. Its lineup grew old, while rivals moved. It misjudged the American market, leaning hard on discounts and rental fleets instead of fresh models, and badly underestimating how fast buyers would want hybrids. In China, local brands ate its lunch. The company that once bet early on electric somehow arrived late to the moment it had predicted. Sales slid. Margins thinned. The empire didn't fall in a day. It eroded, quarter by quarter, while the world wondered who was actually steering. By late 2024, the numbers stopped being quiet. Nissan cut its profit outlook by roughly 70%. It announced it would cut 9,000 jobs and pull back 20% of its global production capacity. Executives took pay cuts, and reports said the company had, by some estimates, a window of only a year or two of cash to turn itself around. 25 years after Ghosn pulled it back from the edge, Nissan was standing on that same edge. And this time, there was no outsider waiting in the wings with a revival plan. So Nissan looked for a partner, the way it had in 1999, except now the rescuer was a neighbor. In December 2024, Honda and Nissan confirmed they were in talks to merge, a tie-up that would have created one of the largest car groups on the planet. For a moment, it looked like history repeating, a second rescue. Then, it came apart. By February 2025, the talks had collapsed. Reports said Honda had moved to make Nissan a subsidiary rather than an equal. And Nissan's pride, the same pride that nearly undid it in 1999, refused. Days later, the chief executive stepped down. The merger that was supposed to save the company became the proof of how far it had fallen. Here is the irony at the center of Nissan. The thing that nearly ended it the first time was the same thing that nearly ended it the second. A company too proud to be rescued until it had no choice. In 1999, it swallowed that pride, took the outside hand, and built an empire. After 2018, it spent that inheritance and forgot the lesson. Nissan today still makes some of the most loved cars in the world. And it is, once again, a giant looking for someone to believe in it. The question isn't whether Nissan can be saved. It already has been once. The question is whether a company can be saved from the same mistake twice.